2 miles with me as I tell you why this Nike book changed my life as a unemployed creative. Like, okay, maybe not 2 miles, but my goal, getting back into YouTube because it's been a while since I've last posted, is run a half mile, and every time I'll tell you something about the book that changed my life. There's this type of passion and grit you need while you're running, the determination, and I think that's what I need again in this era of my life. I found a TikTok that said, here are the 3 books that you need to read if you want to get inspired in the creative department. Of course, Nike is like the dream. Being able to create immersive environments, work with cool brands, cool clients. So of course, that was the first book I picked up, manically read it through the airport, and was like kicking my feet about how funny and easy it was to read this story, like very narrative lens. And Phil starts out at age 24, graduating Stanford and not knowing what the hell to do. And I am 25 and don't know what the hell to do and have also moved back home. I cannot run a mile consistently, and throwback to the days when a mile was a breeze. That was easy. And just talk a little bit about life and catch up on what it's like being unemployed right now and trying to figure out your design career in 2024. The tea is piping hot. Start my day off with a run and see if where I'm thinking of is crowded or not. If not, I'm gonna swerve my ass back and this is gonna get deleted because I'm still camera shy. I'm not gonna lie. All right, I'm screwed. No one's here, which means I have to run this mile. 2 miles. Oh God. You know, I've been saying like, oh, this would be a cute video idea. Since I'm talking about running, I can like run and do that. I didn't think it actually happened. You know what? I don't know if I can run this mile, but I'm a stretch. That's all I gotta say. All right, so every half a mile lap I run, I'm gonna read a portion of this book that hella inspired me. Okay, my first time running. This is so fun, flirty, and fresh. Yeah, okay, I'll do it. I was gonna cheat, but I'm not gonna do it.
Beginning workout.
No, I don't want to. Okay. This is fine. She's a runner, she's a track star. She can run away when it gets hard. I should listen to some Megan Thee Stallion on this next lap. Point 0.13. I haven't stopped running and it's 0.13. 2. I mean, sensor. Why is he here? My God, I'm so tired and it's only been 0.25 miles. Page 4, I was reading and I was shook. I have hella bookmarks over here, just like of things that I wanted to read to you guys. And we'll see how much I can read before I get copywritten. He is back home and he's like, what am I doing with my life? And that's 100% me right now. Page 4, it starts with, the world was so overrun with war and pain and misery. I think this was post-World War II. The daily grind was so exhausting and often unjust. Maybe the only answer I thought was to find some prodigious, improbable dream that seemed worthy, that seemed fun, that seemed a good fit, and chase it with an athlete's single-minded dedication and purpose. Like it or not, life is a game. Whoever denies the truth, whoever simply refuses to play, gets left on the sidelines, and I didn't want that. More than anything, that was the thing I did not want, which led me, as always, to my crazy idea. Maybe it might work.
I relate super strongly to Phil's desire to create something for himself, and it's kind of uncanny how similar our background is and yet different at the same time. For me, it's growing up and creating generational wealth, coming from a immigrant household, and there's a lot that you don't have role models set up for people you don't know in the industry, and you kind of have to navigate for yourself what you want in the world.
And so basically he takes his idea of importing the Japanese running shoe to the US market, and this is all based on his research paper from Stanford, and so that's the idea he kind of propels on. I am only vlogging one part of this workout, I swear. And also, you're just gonna hear whack-ass commentary the whole time.
if I'm vlogging while I'm running. Oh my god, how does Casey Neistat do this? Look at my skyline. High five. I didn't account for how hoarse I would be and how crusty I would sound. Part 2, I was reading on page... No, shut up. I was reading on page 101 about when he finally gets to Japan. His BFF leaves him for a lover in Hawaii, but this is when he renews it. And he does a little fibbing, and I think it's really funny. So this is when he's back in Japan with his manufacturer. I didn't even mention the Marlboro Man. I looked around the table, grim faces. None was grimmer than Katami's. He sent in a few terse words that this would not be possible. I think he's trying to get more shipments because he's popping off selling his shoes at like track meets, like going gung-ho about it. Onitsuka wanted for its US distributor someone bigger, more established, a firm that could handle the workload, a firm with offices on the East Coast. But I sputtered, Blue Ribbon does have offices in the East Coast. And he said, oh? Yeah, we're on the East Coast, the West Coast, and maybe Midwest. We can handle nationwide distribution and no question. I looked around the table. Their grim faces were becoming less grim. And that's when the meeting was adjourned.
I super admire how like balls to the walls he is with like this moment, because a lot of the times when you are pitching yourself and your capabilities, and this is something I've been reflecting over and over, trying to find new opportunities, like being picky about this next chapter. Like sometimes you are going to have to really prove to yourself whether it's skills you can get now, whether there's experiences that you've done in the past, but you are going to have to make space in a room that doesn't want you. And that's something that like Phil Knight has clearly done in a foreign country with a business that he's just diving into, and I just so strongly admire that. I think from a personal perspective of being an Asian American woman, there's the glass ceiling, there's the bamboo ceiling, and there's just a lot of obstacles of self-doubt that I sometimes have about myself. But something that this book really reminded me about is you are your best cheerleader, and to keep doing that throughout this next year.
Wait, I only have 4 parts. I wrote this back a month ago and I've been procrastinating filming this video. So I only have to run a mile. It feels like 2 miles for me, okay? My unfitness equals that next mile. Alani, come sponsor me. Sponsor the unfit athletes.
Resuming workout. Pausing workout. Resuming workout.
I look like a hermit. I feel like a hermit. I am a hermit. Shouldn't sit. It's like hella scorching. What is this next part? Part 3. Guys, we're almost done. I'm a solid 7 out of 10. I definitely have a side stitch right now. Okay, part 3. Nike's adventures. They win their lawsuit against Onitsuka. There was just a bunch of changing hands. The OG who signed their deal like left, and this like money-hungry other person came back in. And so yeah, they win their lawsuit. But this is like way into the lore where they're like pretty famous. They're like kicking Adidas's butt. But the Bank of America is kicking them out because no one wants that much of a risk on their hands. It's like really dicey, like the way they're selling their volume and then like bringing it back, but it's still like a big risk for the banks and something very not precedented at the time. But something I've learned is like the owl's nest, like the company you keep is what kind of keeps you going. So even if you're lacking in certain areas, which you always will as a professional, the crew that you surround yourself with, as well as diverse perspectives, is like kind of what also keeps you going through those challenges. Very like Motley Crue vibes, and also what inspires me to keep going and meeting people. So they often had like these cabin things every month where like the Nike crew came together. Page 301, and yet in the midst of these intense discussions, in the middle of one of the most trying years in the company's history, those butt-face meetings were nothing but a joy. Of all of those hours spent at Sun River, not 1 minute felt like work. it was us against the world, and we felt damned sorry for the world. One last part that inspired me in this book, and then I'm gonna go, otherwise I'm gonna burn to a crisp. All right, guys, one more 0.25. Can I do it? I don't know, we'll see. I did it.
Pausing workout.
I did it. Hi, so my camera's officially dead. I'm gonna try to record like this. I had hella stranger anxiety, so I had to leave the park and I was done. I'm gonna leave part 4 here and tell you why you need to get this book. It's purely for the last chapter. So this is when Phil Knight is like established, he's hella successful. It's like present tense, but maybe like a couple of years back. He's like friends with Bill Gates, like Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, all of the ballers. And this advice is so pivotal because you're never gonna get nuggets of wisdom like this unless you read a biography. If I were to get copywritten strike, it would have been for this. So I'm going to summarize the final lessons he is talking about in his book. But basically, he tells entrepreneurs to seek a calling, not a career. That way, the highest of highs will be your fuel and the lowest of lows will be less of a blow. And I strongly relate to that because as a creative, there's so many things that I want to try and explore that don't fit the job description, that corporate won't let you do because you're in an entry role. And I just like strongly relate to just being able to find a calling. I think I need to like make a sticker or something like that because it's so it hits home right now trying to find a new job. So yeah, this is definitely a good read anytime you need a pick-me-up. Like definitely a once every 5-year book, just because it reads so well and easily and very narrative-esque, even though it's like nonfiction. So yeah, you did your big one, Phil Knight. I'm really inspired and what made me decide to make this video. So yeah, I don't know if I'll promise running more often, but definitely have my love for that sport, that era in my life, and going to keep that moving forward in this time of uncertainty. The videos will resume. They'll be coming out monthly, and keep me on that, and hopefully in a year from now I can get to 500 subscribers and get monetized because this camera's broken. It's taken one fall and I don't think support's gonna keep helping me. So yeah, like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next month. Ciao.
Testify for you. I do that 3-4 times again. I testify for you. I told I like you, that bitch. I do it all, and I'm around. Just kidding. I'm not. Long as you joking, now in for me.